you imagine traveling across Europe with your mates to watch the biggest match of your life? You're there in Istanbul 2005, witnessing one of football's greatest miracles. You celebrate, you sing, you dream. But before you know it, you're being dragged from your hotel bed in a foreign country, accused of a crime you had nothing to do with, locked away in a prison cell thousands of miles from home. This isn't a movie. It happened to an 18-year-old Liverpool fan named Michael Shields. And what followed became one of the most shocking miscarriages of justice in football history. Before we get stuck into this unbelievable story, a quick one for the real football fans out there. If you're here, you live and breathe football. So why not look the part? That's where classicfootballshirts.co.uk comes in. I've got the 2001 to 2003 Gerrard number 17 shirt. Pure nostalgia. Classic shirts never go out of date. They bring back the big moments. Stevie G lifting the Champions League trophy. Fowler banging in goals. Every shirt tells a story. And here's the thing, each one's almost one of a kind. You stand out. You start conversations. You rep your club in style. Plus, you can get 10% off with my exclusive discount code. Find it in the description. Just click the link below or scan the QR code on screen right now to grab yours instantly. Michael was just a normal lad from Edge Hill, quiet, kind, and football obsessed. After the Istanbul final, he and a group of fellow fans headed to Golden Sands, a seaside resort in Bulgaria, to continue the celebrations. But late that night, a brawl broke out. A barman, Martin Georgiev, was found with a fractured skull, hit over the head with a paving stone. Chaos followed. Police burst into Michael's hotel room, got him up, and told him to put on a white t-shirt, the same description the attacker was said to be wearing. Hours later, he was handcuffed to a pipe for the better part of a day, so witnesses could see him before being asked to pick him from a lineup. When Georgiev woke from his coma, Michael's face was already plastered across Bulgarian newspapers, and police told him directly that Shields was the man responsible. Michael's alibi was simple. He had been asleep at the time of the attack, and his friends could confirm this. But in the chaos that followed, that truth was about to get buried. How did a shaky accusation turn into an international conviction? The trial that followed would reveal just how fragile justice can be. The prosecution's case in Bulgaria rested almost entirely on eyewitness accounts already tainted by media exposure. Several key witnesses had seen Michael handcuffed at the station, or his photograph in the press before the identification parade. In legal terms, this kind of contamination can undermine credibility. But here, it became the backbone of the case. There was no physical evidence linking him to the scene. No DNA, no fingerprints, no CCTV footage placing him anywhere near the attack. Forensics, which could have cleared him, were absent or dismissed. The defense argued that Michael had been asleep in his hotel bed, supported by testimony from friends. But their statements were picked apart in court. Language barriers, rushed translations, and an unfamiliar legal system stacked the odds against him. Michael himself barely understood the proceedings. His responses filtered through interpreters who sometimes condensed or altered his words. The trial was swift. The Bulgarian judge accepted the prosecution's version of events almost entirely. In July 2005, Michael Shields was found guilty of attempted murder and sentenced to 15 years in prison. The shock was immediate. His legal team launched an appeal, but it failed. A second appeal reduced the sentence to 10 years. But the guilty verdict remained. By 2006, Michael was transferred to a UK prison to serve the remainder of his sentence. Closer to home? Yes, but still branded a violent criminal in a case riddled with doubts. Back in Liverpool, whispers of injustice were growing louder. And soon, those whispers would turn into something the government could no longer ignore. Support on Merseyside was fierce. Local politicians got behind the campaign, and twice mosaics were displayed on the Kop in his name. Liverpool players wore T-shirts declaring his innocence during warm-ups, using the pitch as a platform to keep his name in the public eye. The FA reprimanded the club for flouting FIFA rules on political protest, but chose not to sanction them. Still, 2 failed court appeals meant the Bulgarian verdict stood. And then, what seemed like hope. In 2008, the Bulgarian government confirmed Britain had the right to pardon Michael. But UK Justice Secretary Jack Straw refused, claiming it was beyond his authority. Another gut punch. However, a judicial review proved otherwise. Now the family turned the spotlight directly on Straw.
I'm well aware of the very strong feelings which many people have had about the safety of Mr. Shields' conviction, and over the months I've met several of Mr. Shields' supporters.
Asserting that when the judicial review was decided in their favour, he claimed no new evidence had been presented. In their view, he had not actually reviewed the original evidence at all. Liverpool knows how to fight for justice. The city's history, marked by long, bitter battles for truth, had taught its people how to keep pushing when the odds looked impossible. "It's a city where we don't do campaigns quietly," Michael said. "You don't get anywhere knocking on doors. You have to kick them down." His father even threatened to stand against Straw in Blackburn, turning the case into a political problem that the Home Secretary didn't want or need. The real breakthrough came when one of Michael's sisters confronted Straw outside his office. He tried to shake her hand. She refused. That refusal made him stop, invite her inside, and listen to what had really happened. The public pressure, the protests, the media attention, it was all closing in. But would Straw act? The answer came suddenly, and it shocked everyone. On September 9th, 2009, Michael Shields was pardoned.
I would like to say a massive thank you to all the people out there, including Liverpool and Everton fans, who've supported me and my family over the last 4 years, by writing letters, by protesting and by marching. Your voices were heard. Thanks to you, I knew I'd never walk alone.
Becoming the first Briton in history to be exonerated after being convicted abroad. According to Michael, the event was a complete surprise. He was given just 2 hours' notice, and then he was out. But behind that sudden moment was 4 years of relentless work. His family had knocked on doors, marched through Liverpool, spoken to journalists, and sat on countless television sofas to keep his name in the headlines. Community fundraisers helped pay legal fees. Supporters wore T-shirts, carried banners, and organised rallies outside Parliament. Football grounds across the country saw fans chanting his name, turning matches into political statements. The UK government declared him morally and technically innocent. For the first time in 4 years, Michael could walk out of prison, embrace his family, and breathe free air. Even then, he extended sympathy to Martin Georgiev, the injured barman, acknowledging that justice had failed more than one person in this story. It was a historic victory. But even in victory, the question remained, why did it take so long? And what does that say about the systems meant to protect the innocent? For football fans everywhere, from Liverpool to London, from Europe to South America, it was a warning. One wrong moment abroad, and you could find yourself in the same nightmare. In a 2019 interview conducted 14 years after the events in Bulgaria, Michael reflected on how he had rebuilt his life, but acknowledged that the experiences still cast a long shadow. He explained that he no longer wanted to feel angry, as he saw no point in it, but reminders still come, through documentaries, news headlines, even a prison scene on TV. Some scars are invisible, but they shape the way you see the world. Every laugh, every hug, every moment of freedom feels different when you've had it taken away. Michael's story is more than a miscarriage of justice. It's proof that persistence, public pressure, and community solidarity can break through even the hardest legal walls. Because in Liverpool, no one walks alone.